proudest day, and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, the Rally Podcast. The 2025 season continues flat out, and I suppose before we go any further, please like and share, it makes all the difference. Yeah, Connor, we had a busy weekend last weekend. Wexford, 2-day rally, absolutely cracking event, and also with the 50th anniversary of the Bushwhacker, they had their celebration dinner, and what a night that was too. So more about that anyway later on, but Wexford, what can we say, 18 stages, traffic battles, terrific rally.
Yeah, listen, a fantastic 2-day event. Really, really was incredible. Brilliant prize fund, but I don't even think that was, that was maybe the icing on the cake, but it wasn't the draw for the majority of the competitors. It really was the event itself.
Yeah, because, it has become that kind of very, clubman friendly, competitor friendly event. Like, we'll hear from some of the crews, like, they're all raving about it, how well set up the stages was for them for the recce, how just everything was just made simple for them, and like wee things like that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely does. It is. It's about the road mileage. It's about the service. It's all the little extra things that either make or break a day.
That's for sure, yeah. So we're going to hear now from Michael and Declan Boyle, both of them guys taking their maiden victory then there over the weekend, and then Frank Kelly, who comes second in the middle of a Darien sandwich. So first of all, let's hear from Michael.
Here, well, first of all, thanks for having us on, Kevin. It's great to be having a chat with you as always. Here, great weekend. Really enjoyed it. Eddie and Tom now didn't give it to us too handy, and Dad and Patrick there were fighting along the way too until their bit of a mishap. But great weekend. Hey, Wexford, I suppose it's my second time doing it this year. And, going from last year, it was a well-run event and we enjoyed it going down there, and Dad and Patrick won it then. So we said we'd come back and, give it a rattle. But no, a brilliant event, and here, hats off to them. They always, have everything running on time, and, all the people, all the locals, everybody's loved to see the rally coming. So, that says a lot about an area.
Yeah, because Declan, is that your first time down in Wexford? But the club, they pulled out all the stops to make this rally happen. They seem to be very competitor friendly and, doing a lot there to welcome you down. There was something on the Thursday night for you. And then at the end of the rally, there was a pint and a burger for everybody that finished as well.
Yeah, that was my first time in Wexford. It's a bit of a sore point. There's actually a festival on in Glenties here that weekend, and it was my first time ever missing the festival, So, but I think it was worth missing for, But no, the club put on a tremendous rally, and everything was run perfect, and even in the road sections, the arrows out everywhere, it just took the thinking out of everything, and it was a brilliant run event.
Yeah, and 18 stages over 2 days, that's tough going. That's 2 national rallies. That's a full international condensed into 2 days.
Yeah, it's basically two national rallies, but the equivalent of maybe international stages. It was tough going for the 2 days, but no, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, and Michael, for yourselves as well too, at the end of day one, it was almost like setting the clock back to zero again. There was only 0.4 or 0.6 of a second between you, and your dad breathing down the neck as well too.
I know. Going into Sunday, it was tough. I think it might have been a second and a half, maybe, or something to that degree. But anyway, not much worth talking about anyway. Yeah. And then Dad was only sort of, Jesus, I don't know, was he 2.3 or maybe he was maybe he might have been more. He might have been 7 or 8, maybe at this stage. But no, virtually nothing. And we got a good sort of, I suppose we got 4 or 5 seconds, or maybe 5.5 seconds on the last stage on Saturday, and it took it back to, because it was up at one point at maybe 12.5 seconds or something, but we managed to get it back to 1.5 for the overnight. But we were glad in a way that not to be leading overnight. We'd rather be the chasing crew instead of being chased, sort of thing. So it was good that way, but no, here it was brilliant. And as Declan says, 18 stages there over 2 days, and I always say it's a great thing. That 3x3 format. It's a great format to follow because you're getting 3 runs of a stage, and though the Wexford done very well there, they had even for a recce in it. It was a big recce. Don't get me wrong, but you could do a lot of it. We done it in about a day and a half, and we were writing our own notes, and we got 3 runs over everything. So, that was great too.
Yeah, and you talk about the 3x3 format that way, and those way, especially with the weather, it was so mixed. There was never going to be an ideal tyre for never mind 3 stages, even for 1 stage.
No, it was crucial, and you're always trying to see, right, who do I know that's out on that stage? Maybe they might send me a picture, or might do something for me, but you're always trying to see, right, what is the right call? Because again, if me and Eddie and Dad and we all went out in the same tire every time, somebody had to take a chance to do something different, because if you didn't, it could end up you'd be the same result. So you're always trying to see, right, what can I do different here to the other 2 lads to see, can we gain something? And then it's a risky move too, because never mind gaining, you can always lose from that as well. So but anyway, no, touch wood, it worked out for us this time around.
Yeah, and that has to give you great confidence that you're able to take that, grab the ball by the horns and do something a wee bit different, whether it's a different tyre choice or, put a wee tweak on the suspension or something like that you can carry that now to other events.
Yeah, definitely. Here, I suppose Declan will tell you, I was lying under wheels, and I was bonnet up and boot open and clicking away all weekend, and you're making it worse maybe an odd time, but a lot of times we did feel that we were making improvements, and all here it's like anything, maybe one of the other lads mightn't have liked what I was doing, but if you can get comfortable yourself, and for the 2 of us in the car, if you can get comfortable, it just gives you the that sort of confidence to push on, and sort of motivates you a little bit then as you go through the stage.
Yeah, and Declan, from your point of view, can you if whenever he makes a change to the car, can you feel that fairly quick then once you hit a stage, and that you feel the car's turning in better, the car's reacting well if it's wet or damp or whatever?
Yeah, you can notice a difference, and you can also notice a difference in his driving style as such, because you can see that he actually has confidence in what he's doing, and it just leaves the thing a lot easier when you know it's working 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then whenever he has confidence, do you just do you get the buzz off that as well too, and things really just start clicking and flowing?
Well, it just takes the stress of you, and you know that it's working, and it just when everyone's working together, it's just a dream then.
Yeah, I have no better feeling than that when the thing's right, it's right.
Yeah, when it's right, it's right, and let me tell you, when it's wrong too.
We've all been there.
Yeah, because I think, Michael, it has been, it's been a year of a lot of promise, but also a lot of difficulties as well. The times have been getting better, you've been getting closer, but there's been a few setbacks. How do you feel that the year has been all in all yourself?
I suppose here the year, I suppose as a whole, has been probably overall good, but again, as you say, there has been a few setbacks. I suppose we started the year in the Polo, VW Polo, brilliant car. We done, I suppose, up as far as maybe, I think Killarney was maybe the last rally in that, where we finished maybe, I don't know, was it 5th or 4th or 5th or something along those, maybe, I think it was 5th. And then we decided, right, coming up, I suppose, to the home rally, again, you're always looking to see, right, where can we gain another bit? So I suppose Dad was in a Skoda RS, and at this point in Killarney, Matty was in a Fiesta, I was in a Polo, he was in a Skoda, and we were saying, right, we have 3 different cars, 3 different manufacturers, let's try and narrow this down to 2 itself, so we can share a bit of spares package or wheels or anything at all, because, before that, you're having to buy 3 of everything. So we decided, right, I think Skoda's the right move. And I suppose it's a bit like anything. It's you're going for the newest machinery, the latest toy. Sometimes it mightn't be necessarily be the best, but here we feel the Skoda is a great car. So we made the switch to that. I suppose before Donegal, we had a rally or 2 to do in it. We've done that rally. I think it was Maiden City, and we finished maybe, I think it was 3rd or fourth. I think it was fourth. So, and again, we weren't far off the bat on that one. I think we had a spin in one of the stages, and we lost maybe 10 on the spin, and I suppose we lost the rally by maybe 16, 17, 18, something like that. So you would have cut it in half, sort of thing. Cavan, then the following day, I suppose we were wanting to go out and put a push on, and on the first stage we were going very well, but again there was a bit of big downpour and we were on slick tires and I suppose got cut out and hit a tree, so that was a dirty impact. And it left us only 2.5 weeks to fix the car before Donegal. But fair play to Adam and Apart and the whole team. They managed to pull it out of the bag once again and got us going. But then I suppose after that it was a bit of back to basics, character building again, and I suppose here we've been, trying to narrow the gap. You're always looking at, right, how much do I need a stage and how much then do I need a kilometre? And you're trying to sort of work it backwards. But no, a couple of podiums then since then, and no, great to finally get the top step.
Yeah, because we've seen what the Skoda has done for your dad. It has revitalised him. He's absolutely buzzing. You see at the stage ends there now, and if he gets the fastest time and that, he's just so buzzed by it. They seem to be a very rewarding car to drive.
Yeah, very rewarding car to drive, and I suppose Skoda VW. I suppose that transition wise for me from the Polo, I think the Skoda was probably slightly based maybe off a Polo, so I suppose that transition was made a bit easier for me. But I do see a lot of similarities in the two of them, and then I suppose differences as well. Gearing wise, I would always say I would find the gearing probably a little bit better in the Skoda. Find that you're just probably always on the power band. Chassis wise, I'd find the chassis a little bit softer, but in the likes of the wet conditions of the weekend there, it gave me good confidence that the chassis was sort of twisting and turning and you could feel the grip underneath you. Otherwise with the Polo, I kind of suppose struggled in them conditions a little bit. But again, and when you change to a new car, it's always a risky move. You're always trying to find setup, and it's dampers in, dampers out, springs in, springs out, anti-roll bars. There's no end. But it just takes time to find where you want to be.
Yeah, and Declan, for yourself too, maybe a quieter year this year, and you've been in a few different cars. Like Ryan, was getting the Rally too, but it's just taking the time to find the sweet spot. And you've had a few other runs as well this year.
Yeah, we started off the year in a Rally 3 car in Midlands, and we won the class there, and didn't really know where we were going or coming or what we were doing, and ended up in a Rally 2 car for Killarney, and that was my first run in a Rally 2 car. I was never in one before, and got a few promising results and signs of good speed. And after Donegal, then we didn't know where we were going, and I suppose it just opened up my door, and I went to Sligo with young Jack Garthy in a Nova. It's a bit of a big step from a Rally 2 down to Nova, from top 10 the road to last 10. And then I went to Ulster then after that day with Michael, and that just didn't go our way. It was just unfortunate more than anything. And there last weekend then I was in Clare with Ronan Dorian in a Civic, and we're leading the juniors, and until we weren't. And then at the weekend it's the top of the pops. Just that's it.
Yeah, and for you, do you find that transition, just a very smooth transition to being, coming out of a Civic into like a Skoda RS, or is it a lot more pressure, a lot more work going into it?
It's obviously more work going into a Rally 2 car, because the level of preparation you need to be at the top of your game you just need to be on top of it. And a Civic, I suppose it's not as bad, but no, it takes time to adapt to whatever you're in. It's just I don't mind sitting with the other lads because I'm giving them experience, where I'm looking for the experience then when I go into the Rally 2 cars, and it's all miles. I think it all good sitting at home. So
yeah, because what you're giving the likes of young Dorian there to get in with him, that for him's invaluable too, and then for you to get the chance in, and with Michael, you're gaining something from that, and that's always the great thing with rallying. If you've got information, you don't keep it to yourself. You're quite happy to share it out.
Happy to share it. The way I looked at sitting with Ronan Dorian there, if he took one thing away that from my experience, I was happy. And then I went to Wexford. Then if I took one thing away from learning with Michael, I was happy. So everybody's happy.
Every day's a learning day. Let nobody tell you any different now.
No, that's for sure. And I suppose, Michael, before we continue any further, your dad and Patrick, you said had it a nasty enough wee tip. They're fine and they're good and up and going again, and there's no lasting damage, I suppose.
Yeah, no, thank God. I suppose here they did a bit of probably a sudden stop as such. Not here, not any time, you come from a speed to a sudden stop is never nice, no matter what the speed. But again, no, they supposed to, they jumped out and they felt they were okay, and they had the okay board out and waving on all the lads coming, saying they were fine. And then it wasn't until I suppose a couple of minutes and the adrenaline sort of wore off, they said, you know what, actually we're starting to feel the pain now. So they turned it to an SOS and put off the tracker, and in fair play to the stage, it stopped fairly sharpish. But no, they went away to hospital then, and thanks to everybody in Wexford General, they looked after them very well. My father was saying, but no, here they got out. Both of them got out that evening. Patrick went back to Wales on a ferry, and I took my father up the road after it. So just here, aches and pains, nothing permanent. They'll be back fighting at the sharp end, hopefully again soon. And no, here they're already looking forward to getting back again.
Excellent. And then the younger brother Matthew, he's going to become a thorn in the side now shortly too. Like, he is just this year, he has stepped into the Rally 2 car and just getting better and better and better. He's not going to be too long till he's nipping at that podium places as well.
Yeah, definitely. No, Matthew here, he's a brilliant driver, improving all the time. Here he really found his feet in that Fiesta. There's little stages there he can be on us and even beating us at times. So again, it's just, I suppose, when you're new to a car like that, it's just trying to find consistency and trying to do that every stage. And here it's not easy. We're always chasing down lads in front of us too, and you're always looking for the next thing. And no matter where you are, you're always looking to improve, even from the weekend there. There's probably things that we could have done better too, but no, here, fair play to Matthew. I think he will be a real pain soon, and but no, looking forward here. It's great for us as a family to have three of us, and even when you're seated close together, you can have a bit of crack in between stages, and a bit of chat and a bit of banter, and it's good fun. I suppose here for us, it's our only sort of break away from work. So I suppose it's something we all have in common and we all enjoy, and that's why we go and do it then.
Frank, Wexford the weekend, and we've seen Happy Frank back again too. But what a great rally it was.
Happy Frank's never that far away, even when he makes a mess. Hey, as I said to some of the lads the weekend, it's a privilege to get driving these things and to get doing what we want to do. But Wexford's always been a good rally. It's been very much a clubman rally, not being around of any big championships or whatever. But I can see that changing soon, because it's got to a level now. The effort that goes in there, even the social media effort and the ceremonial start and the launch of the rally a week or two ago, when they had a load of cars in the centre of the town, the quays there is a great setting. And the weather for that kind of stuff wasn't too bad. At September, you can get anything, as you well know, but there's a serious effort getting in there. It's plain to be seen. Wee simple things too, like even on the recce, most of the stages were completely dressed on the Thursday and the Friday before the Saturday and Sunday rally. So it was a pleasure to make notes, and even end of stages will be narrowed to say which way your road section went to start you off, which is always, it sounds a really stupid thing, but in the rally, when you come out of the end of a stage and you're all flustered and everything, for the co-driver to get rid of his time cards, get his bus notes out of the way, and then start the road book, that arrow can just let you get on to the first section and continue on. It's wee simple details like that. You can see it's rally people organising the rally. A bit like the Cork 20. Cork 20 is a very similar vein as well. And we're lucky, West Cork's the same. Mm-hmm. A lot of the rallies down around that part of the world are very that way, which are things they don't have to do. And they have enough things that they have to do. Never mind having to add all them things. But then wee touches just as a nice thing. Plus, they're all good stages. Like there was, 9 stages done twice, 18 stages in the rally. And they're, as I said to Graham Scallon, I'll sign on. There's not a bad stage here. There's not a stage that I'm going, oh shit, I don't like the look of that. Mm-hmm. Bit of everything too. Some really fast flowing, big wide roads, some narrow stuff, some green grass up the middle of the road, which I'm not a big fan of. But it has to be there for some lads like that. Mm-hmm. Sections like that join you onto other roads, and just a lovely rally. And as you say, organised by competitors, and that shines through, because even things like on the Thursday evening, they had like a kind of a get-together for service crew, and then the end of the rally, the pint and the burger, wee things like that. It costs the club, but it probably pays off in the long run. It creates a feel-good factor. Yeah. I've always said, especially at MA events, you're treated like a customer, not like a pariah. The customer's always, and I remember Greg Shinner saying that to me a lifetime ago when I was starting to rally down south. How well I hope you welcome everybody as well as you welcome me. He says, listen, you're the customer. At the end of the day, you're the customer. So you have to be kept happy. And that's a different way of thinking from a lot of rallying that goes on around the country. But they're making a serious effort down there, and they're bound to end up in some championship because they'll be sought after, they'll be looked about. And I would hope that they'll stay the way they are. You know, they're very club oriented, very club man oriented, and it's good to see. And like, fantastic entry as well. Loads of stuff, and the keys there, as I say, is a lovely setting for the Park Fermi. Wexford Town is pretty much a gridlock central, but I think it'll be a gridlock central on a Wednesday afternoon as well. So they did a good job to get the whole thing free flowing through it. And the weather was kind enough in that area. As we'll chat about later, the weather wasn't that keen in the stages, but there's not much you can do about that.
No, and to have 18 stages over 2 days, that's two national rallies. It's a full international, and everyone pretty much ran on time. There may have been a few guys lost, maybe a stage or whatever, but in general, it ran on time every stage. Not many clubs can say that either.
No, 18 stages is a fair mouthful to take. I had underestimated the rally, to be fair, when we put the entry in, assuming it was similar to last year, which was a bit less mileage, and that we'd be familiar with the stages. Out of the 18 stages, there was 2 of them the same as last year. And when Lauren did the fuel calculations for us to get up our fuel, I went, hang on, we need how much fuel? how many kilometres in this rally? I said, this is a bigger rally than I was anticipating. Maybe it's just my lack of memory, but there was a lot going on, like you say, 2 national rallies back to back. But it ran well. We were 24 on the road. We get all 18 stages. Listen, I'm sure plenty of lads didn't get, because especially with the weather, there was a right few offs. So there'd have been stages lost for other fellas, but 24 to get all the stages 24 on the road is still a good achievement.
And as you say, and Saturday was kind of mixed conditions, and then Sunday, and especially in the morning, it seemed to be the heaven opened.
Aye, the weather forecast is shite as usual. I kept a good look on it. I've learnt over the years, and when we had a great run on Cork 20 last year in the wet, I learnt from that look at the weather forecast, see what they're anticipating, and make the notes accordingly. And we did that, and it was pretty much till a nap or a website. It was given Saturday to be lovely and Sunday to be complete shite. So we worked on that premise, but it was more of a mixed bag than that. It's never black and white. Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, fantastic, hard slicks, away you go. A lot of lads went out on softer stuff in the morning because it was cooler, but I went hards and mediums, and I was happy with my choice, and our times were good, competitive, happy with that, and ran them on to the next loop and thought, this is us for the day, the 4 tyres will do us today. And then it started to rain, and it started to get greasy and started to get shitty. So there was a mix and match on for the last loop that got us through okay. So then next Sunday morning, obviously, I don't even look out the window. I knew it was going to be pelting off the heavens, and got up and there wasn't no rain. And I thought, I will have my 4 wet tyres on my rims. I had put my wet settings into the suspension. I had everything lined up for wet, and I thought, well, it's going to be an hour and a half to on a stage. It'll be raining by then. And literally, clocked out of Park Fermi, still not raining, into service with a 20-minute service or whatever it was. Ready to clock out, still no rain. So where the hell is the rain gone? But it was dark enough looking, and everybody was in the same boat. And I says, I'm sticking to the plan. I'm going full wets. The rain will be there when we get there. And thank God it was. Literally, it's not often I go out the road praying for rain, but it rained. We had the right tyres on. We had a fantastic morning. Couple of fastest times, maybe 3 or 4 fast times, I don't know, but we got well back into the hunt. Had a great fight with Wayne and Reese Jones, and Welsh lads were in the Darien. Co-driver's been here a few times. Wayne hasn't been here before. Very quick young fella in a 2.5 Millington Darien, and he'd been ahead of us overnight, so we started to chip away at him. He was my target, and we got ahead of him and stretched away from him a wee bit. James Stafford was gone. Mark Alcorn was ahead of us, and then he went off in a real tricky place. So that left us in a comfortable sort of Darien sandwich, and we kept plugging away at that. A few skirmishes, a few wee handlings, but in the afternoon then the bloody rain stopped. And, it had rained that much in the early part, and the stages got that dirty. You think, well, the stages is still going to be slippy as hell. We'll just keep our wets on. But that was a mistake. Luckily, and it was Trevor McConnell's service for me that sort of talked me into putting 2 soft slicks in the boot. because I don't like carrying two wheels. But I put two soft slicks in the boot, went out, lined up for the stage, and I thought, this is very dry looking. But surely the stage can't be this dry. There'll be people bouncing up banks and pulling crap out. Stage had dried up fierce. It was 80% dry. And we weren't far into the front tyres, cried enough, the wet tyres, and we trimmed the hedge in fourth gear, went down the hedge, waiting to hit something hard. Got out of that without hitting anything. I thought, right, that's enough of that. So had to just drive accordingly to get to the stage. Our stage time was still good, which really surprised me. But then we whacked on our slicks on the front. Kept the wets in the back, but slicks in the front to at least have a steering. And we did the next stage like that, which worked great. And then the last stage was pissing again, and we had slicks on, and nothing to do about it. So I had a tiptoe through that. And that was the stage that was claiming a lot of people. The third stage on the Sunday loop.
Yes.
Nobody told me, but apparently locally it's the stretchers at 25 degrees on a Sunday afternoon in the road. Stretchers. Weird surface, Kevin. I haven't seen nothing like that before. You'll normally see shiny tarmac. Several places where Keelan Grogan went off and two or three other lads, or maybe more. That corner looked as innocent as you'd like. Slightly downhill into a square left. Didn't look dramatic. Looked grippy. Everybody was just sailing off into the scenery. And we Keelan Grogan was off there when we came in, and co-driver was out with the OK board up, slowing us down. What I thought was far too early. Turns out it was just right. Because it was like a bottle. I don't know if it was oil in the corner or what it was. Come back round to that stage again. We marked that as Grogan's corner. There was Psycho's corner, Grogan's corner. There was Joe Kelly's corner. There was 3 or 4 corners marked from the graveyard we just lived through. And we still struggled to get through it cleanly. So there was some man had to find these spots. The locals knew about them, I assume, from what I've heard afterwards. But it was just very deceptive. Now, I was surprised how slippy that was.
Yes. Because as you say, it appeared to be drying, but that particular certain parts of that stage didn't dry compared to the rest. Yeah,
and as I say, you can normally see shiny tarmac if you get out and look at it. That particular corner at Grogan's off looked like it was perfectly fine. You just think, how did he manage in there? No, I could see how he managed in there. You could walk down that and fall and go in where he went. It just was one of them things.
Yeah, and as you say, like Stafford was up the road, like he's in his home turf and all that there and too, but like you just seem to, you could see by your reaction at the stage ends that you were just really clicking. Yourself and Lauren were just having the ball. Is there anything different, or is it just you just felt that this is it? I'm just in my happy place here now.
It's a bit of everything. There's no big thing, but that New Millington we've had this year has been quite aggressive to drive, and with a bit of work with Robbie Thornton, he's got it just the way I want it now, and that was only Thursday before the rally, so it leaves her a whole lot easier to drive in wet conditions. Differential settings, suspension settings, and the right tyre combo and pace notes. Paying attention if it's going to be wet to where the slippy bits are, if you can see them. I've learnt I've been at this long enough to frigging know, but that's only relatively recently that all that stuff has come together, and that recipe to make it work. And like as Lauren said to me, I've never heard you praying for rain before. When we were going out to do the last loop, I just wanted more rain because we were competitive in the rain. Instead of being afraid to press the throttle, you just wanted to keep getting the throttle on her. And knew that she wasn't going to swap ends on you, knew that she wasn't going to step out in 6th gear on a straight part of the road. No, it felt really comfortable, and it's lovely to be. It's a lovely feeling to have, and lots of times I haven't had it, so now when I do get it, I make the most of it. I enjoy it. I enjoy that feeling of nearly being invincible until you're not.
So you come away with second the 2-wheel drive, and that's Wexford. Next up, then Rally Legend. That is, you're becoming one of the legends of Rally Legend. Not a difficult decision to go back again.
Legend. No, Wexford will have been our last Irish Rally of the year. So we're going to do Rally Legends. That Rally Legends confirmed that very early this year for a change. So maybe my bad temper before has taught them that they need to not leave it till a week before. So we've had everything confirmed a long time ago and been able to get everything in place and not be such a rush thing. So that's left me a 2-week buffer. Now, the one unfortunate thing was that was all confirmed nearly just after the Rally Legends last year. but then Cork 20's date slightly moved, and maybe Rally Legends has moved, and it's the same weekend as Cork 20, which is a ball breaker because I love the Cork 20 and Kevin O'Riordan and the COC and all the work they've done around that to get it to where it's at now. It's just a bit you can't do both of them, but they're the same day. So what do you do? And we've already booked everything else, so it's paid for, as the man says.
Yes.
But Rally Legends, looking forward to it. The madness only gets madder every year. I would assume they're going to have to try and rein it in a bit this year because it nearly didn't run last year. We've been burning people's houses down and fires on the road and chainsaws with no blades in them. It's all become legendary now. So Lauren was just looking there this evening, and there are changes to their itinerary. And that first stage that all the drama was on last year is not running. I don't know if it's running at all or it's not running till later in the weekend. Maybe till the lunatics have all drunk themselves out. I don't know. But there's seems to be a good contingent of Irish lads going. Looking forward to it. I've gathered up 14 gravel tyres. Should get me through the first day. And then we'll worry about everything else after that. So she's getting sort of some small changes made in the gearing to accommodate that and try and make her reliable. And we'll go and take a rattle at that. And if that all works, then we're going to do Rally Legends in Portugal, which we weren't going to do this year because it's near enough overlapped with the Australian Rally we have to do in November. But again, there was a date change there somewhere along the line in the last couple of months. And when they came back to me again about doing the Rally Legends of Portugal, I said that obviously it sort of clashed, and he said, no, we've changed our date. So I took a look at it, and it is doable. So we bit the bullet because they always look after us really well. Great atmosphere. Not as crazy and as mental and as busy as Rally Legends San Marino, but getting there every year, it gets busier and gets more people. And great fan base over there. Great interest in the cars, especially the Mark II, because they're starved of Mark IIs. So they really appreciate it, and they're always wanting to know about the car, and I enjoy talking about the cars, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And then back to Australia. Unfortunately, the last event in Australia didn't go to plan, but hopefully this one you'll have a bit more.
Exactly. Funny, Richie Dalton, Shamrock College, who supported most of our thing to get till the east coast of Australia in August. He was doing that rally as well, but he came over to Wexford, and I was getting the right touch that I took the rein to Australia. So when it was pushing in Wexford, I told him he took the rein back to Wexford. That it was him that did that. But no, Bateman's Bay is one of them things. You just never would think that a rally on the east coast of Australia would get washed out, but it wasn't even that predicted in the weather forecast or anything. Again, they got that all screwed up. Because the car was in Adelaide, which South Australia. I flew in a couple of days early to re-prepare the car, spent 2 days there doing me bits and pieces. David McDonough gave me the use of his workshop and his ute. My trailer's there, so I towed her 15 hours to the East Coast. 177 kilometre gravel rally in 1 day. We rackied that 3 times. Then the rally was cancelled. Then I towed her 15 hours back to Adelaide and flew home. You couldn't make it up, but it was one of them things. And the stages on the recce were fantastic. The first stage was 33 kilometres long on gravel. Unofficially, we were at 80-90 mile an hour in the recce car on the stage, allegedly. And I thought, this is going to be, imagine Baby Blue coming squeak. This is going to be so much fun. This is going to be a great crack. And they were given a bit of rain for Friday and the same kind of rain on Saturday for the rally. So we did a recce on Wednesday. We skipped Thursday to get the stages in the wet to see what they're like. And they were fine on Friday, no bother. And I thought, this is not going to affect us. Similar rain tomorrow, no bother. But 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and it was like somebody was turning a D8 track machine in the backyard of where we were. And I couldn't understand why somebody would be turning a track machine at the back window of our accommodation. And I looked out the window and it was the rain bouncing 2 foot off the ground. Gee. It was just biblical. And then 6:30, COC rang me and he says, you're the first man I'm ringing because you travelled the furthest. He says, we've had to pull the rally. The 4-wheel drives that the officials were getting into the stages were getting stuck.
Right.
So it just went to shit, unfortunately. So listen, it was nobody's fault. And to be fair, they called it before everybody was in Park Ferry or everybody was on the way to the first stage. They called it, they made the decision and they called it. Now, there was hope that it would be rescheduled for November, which would have tied in with a tarmac rally we were going to do, and we could have done a double header. But they struggled to get a date and bits and pieces and road closings because a lot of the gravel roads were public roads.
Okay.
So they had to call it completely to not run this year at all. So that sort of blew that out of the water. But the next one, though, is Tarmac, is Adelaide Tarmac Rally. We did it in 2017 in a different guise. It's got bigger and better. It's a strange sort of a format, Kevin, to have over 400 entrants for the rally. But from what I can gather from the entry list, there's only about maybe 50 competitive cars on it.
Okay.
A lot of them, there's like several different categories that makes up that 400 odd competitive cars. But there's like a touring class, which will be your Ferrari and Lamborghini dude.
Oh, yes.
That just puts on a helmet and does the stage. This year they're doing it behind us. The last time we did it, they did us ahead of us, and there was so many crashes and delays and oil in the road. It was scandalous. And the funny thing is that, well, it wasn't funny at the time, they put on a food halt in the middle of each day because it's like 3 or 4 days, 3 days I think it is. But because we're at the back of the field of the 400 cars, by the time we get there, all there was these breadcrumbs on tables. But I'm assured that the competitive classes are on at the head of the field, so I'll make sure to rack everything before they leave.
I think I've read
Well, there's loads of different categories within that, and so it'll be a strange enough format. The stages are slightly different; they're not in the same area. I think some of them will be the same, but it'll not matter. It was 2017. It's not as if I remember the bloody things. And because Lauren wasn't co-driving that day, she'll not use somebody else's notes, so we'll have to write them anyway. So. No, I'm looking forward to it, and it'll be the third of the trilogy.
Yes.
And then I'll be homeward bound after that.
Yeah. So thanks very much there to Michael and Declan, and then to Frank. And no doubt, Michael, that's going to be the first one of many then too. So yeah, watch this space. And that Matthew, the younger brother, coming up as well too. So them wee buzzing bees is going to be keep going. Also last weekend, as I say, the Omagh Motor Club had their 50th anniversary celebration night, and what a night. I was just blown away with it. Everywhere you look, there was another legend walking past. You know, a great night, very enjoyable. Well done to all involved in that, I have to say. And that has just set the scene now for the rally coming up now, starting on Friday evening into Saturday. Connor, it's all the ingredients been an absolutely epic event.
Yeah, look, can't wait for this. Like, you know, it's as we've always nicknamed it, the Gravel Grand Prix, or we've known it as the Gravel Grand Prix. But this, you know, the night stage is adding that extra dimension, that extra element to it. And there's just something about nighttime in a forest and listening to, you know, the full tilt and the bap 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 bap. You know, it's just amazing.
Yeah, and like what an entry list! Like the numbers is huge, the quality is out of this world. It's just, yeah, as I say, it is. And like, fair play to the club, like the 50th anniversary last week, you know, that was a great initiative. You know, having the Friday night stages, a regroup, you know, there's so many things. They're bringing back a prize giving. Yeah, the club's put a huge effort into this. And like, again, we mentioned about Wexford, you know, it's a strong club by strong competitors and one thing and another. You get the same vibe from Omagh too. It's a really together club. They're all pulling in the one direction.
That's it. Look, again, you know, it's a well-run event, well-run club. Again, it's that, you know, clubman ethos behind the whole thing, and it's been, you know, it's a fan favorite. It has been every year, and a competitor's favorite as well. It's an event people want to do in the Varsity Championship. That's
for sure. Yeah. So, anyway, without further ado, I think we'll catch up with Paul Barrett, like an Omagh man through and through. And like, you know, an event in a club that means so much to him and his family, and then that'll roll into Lewis Boyd and Ronnie McAleer, two of the guys very instrumental in making the whole event happen. Paul Barrett, you won the Historic in the Woodpecker a couple of weeks ago. What a result after being out of the seat for so long.
Yeah, it was probably a good enough result. I was just glad that somewhat was for to be sort of at the race at the same time. You know, it took me a while to get settled in, but we'll come to the last 2 or 3 stages. I was at the game then, you know, but the boys put a lot of work. Sammy and Darren put a lot of work on the car all over the winter, you know, and was trying to just get the car dialed in as best I could, and just I was happy just the way the car is, to be honest with you. I think the car is good. I'm hoping it feels good, and I'm just looking forward now to doing a bit of rally more now, like.
Yeah, because like, you know, after being out of the seat for so long, like you've always had that natural ability. You're not a man for doing 12, 15 rallies a year. You only maybe pick and choose your events, but to be able to jump in and go hard, that's a special talent.
Well, I don't know if we call it special talent or not. A bit of madness in the middle of it, like. But no, like I doing a pile of miles doesn't really it's a thing I don't do a lot of, to tell you the truth. Like, you said about going for a test, I would tell somebody to take her for a run up the road and put her in the filler. Like, I might even drive it. I mean, but literally, that before the Woodpecker, I done about 2 mile in the car.
Yeah.
That's not an exaggeration. Like, and it was good then. Arthur Cairns too, something, and fair play to Arthur, stepped in. Dory was come up and couldn't go, so Arthur went, like, and he enjoyed it, and it was great, a great event too, and I was glad to get the likes of somebody, a different navigator in with me as well, you know. So.
Aye, I could even get a different voice in your ear too. Like, that's something different as well. As all these wee things, you know.
Monaghan man too.
Aye, Monaghan man, foreigner.
I don't know if he'll appreciate it or not, but so I say to them. But no, it was grand, you know, and truthfully, that's what I always think about, is just, you know, coming through to you and trying to take it all in, like, and
yes,
you know, my notes, just, I wouldn't say they're not complicated, they're very simple, but probably maybe have sometimes too much in them. You know, it's probably difficult for them to read it, like, at all at the same time, like, but it's still simple enough note, like, but hey.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed it. Now, it was good, and I was just that I was glad for the amount of work and after the boys put in the car to have her dialed in. I was happy with that more than anything, you know.
Aye, because like the car, I remember talking to you before. You've given the car a complete rebuild from front to back. This is back to a Paul Barrett car again.
That's it. Hey, Milton, Shade and Tally Sala, like, now, like, to be truthful, we took her back. Like, she's all, virtually everything's changed in the car now. So I'm glad we've done that, to be truthful, and I'm enjoying myself back walking the shade at nights and that, and a bit of camaraderie, like, and a bit of crack, and hey, it's sort of high cost effective as well, which is one of the main things, to be truthful.
Yeah, because like, you've been very lucky over the years. Your rallying has been all about mates go rallying, isn't it? Like, it has been that core group of friends that has been with you all along.
Well, there's no question about that. Like, hey, like, it's like, yeah, these embarrassing at times, like, but only for the boys around me. I couldn't do it, and the wife as well, like, and the family and the brothers and my father and that. Like, it was all a big team effort, like, from everybody. Like, you know, in fairness, like, I'm fortunate that way, that I have good friends and people as interested in rallying, like, and they put a serious amount of work in, like, and there's, you know, just be thankful for it, like, to be truthfully, and the boys, there's no wild mental cost with it all, like, they're more just interested in trying to be competitive, and that's why I sort of like to repay them in such a way that you be competitive, and that they're as competitive as I am. So I suppose that's the cause.
Yeah. And I suppose then, talking about, you know, family and friends and all that, we had a night last Thursday night up in the Silver Birch in Omagh, and like, that was celebrating the best of your local area, Omagh Motor Club. They put on an absolutely fantastic night, and looking around and seeing the faces, like, there was people maybe you hadn't seen there in maybe 20 years. It was just reeling in the years with bells on.
It was absolutely brilliant. Like, it was fair play to the club, like, and I'm a committee member myself. Not that I do a lot for it, like, but I'm a committee member, and I was proud now on last Thursday night. It was unreal, and the people and like, it was just, and the crowd that was there, and the quality that was there, and, you know, people. And I've seen yourself there, and you're right and drunk too. I've seen you. It was good to see, you know.
Yeah, but like, you know, everywhere you looked, it was like, oh my God, there's like, you know, such a guy from 20 years ago. There's somebody, and it could have been right from the present day, right to 50 years ago. And like, it shows the heritage and the respect that the Bushwhacker Rally has.
Oh, there's no question about it. Like, you know, and Motor Club and Self, like, I would class it as one of the best clubs in Ireland, like, we took with, you know, and the following it has, and the support it has, and the great work ethic, you know, towards it. And the Bushwhackers are a massive rally, like, as I called, like, everybody calls it the Omagh Grand Prix. Like, it is one of the best forest rallies in Ireland. Like, there's no question about it. And every man ups his game now. Come Saturday, like, I don't care who they are. It'll be, you know, there'll be no hiding places. Like, it'll be whatever you've got, like.
Because like, yes, you know, the stages are good, but I think it's the people behind the rally. It's the club, it's the marshals, it's the organisers. They have lifted it to that whole new level because they are so welcoming. They are so good with the competitor.
Yeah, there was no doubt about it's competitor friendly too. Like, and the club itself, the members on it, like, they do a serious amount of work, and they're loyal, I suppose, to the club, like, and fair play to them. It's probably the same people do the same work as they probably like every other club too, to be truthful. And probably like myself should probably do more. and funny, I was chatting about I might just do that, you know, I might try and sort of help the club a bit more. I'm not just promising anything there, like, but I'll give it a go maybe next year. I will maybe put a bit of more effort into it. The club deserves a bit more help.
Yeah. And like for the Barrett family, like not only the Bushwhacker but the Omagh Motor Club means so much. Like your father competed in the very first ever Bushwhacker rally 50 years ago, and like your brother Ryan enjoyed tremendous success there as well, as you have as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like the Bushwhacker has been good to us, and actually the rally in general and the fraternity of people like that I done the first Bushwhacker rally, and Godfrey Crawford took them. So it was. Hey, that would be a big thing that time as well. And it doesn't mean BDA or I'm not even sure. Maybe not the Twin Cam Ascot. Probably was a Twin Cam Ascot, I would say that time. But he was done it a few times. Definitely done the BDA, but maybe the first time he done was probably a Twin Cam Ascot Mark 1. But no, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I'd like to see him be there all night now to be truthful,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but like whenever we you've seen like the legs of Hugh O'Brien, like the man who has nothing to prove, Robbie McGurk, the man who has nothing to prove, sitting up on that stage and saying, this was the rally that they cut their teeth in. This is the rally that made them feel important. For the likes of Patrick O'Brien now going out there now on the weekend now to try and win the 5 in a row, like this rallying is a great way of making heroes out of people.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Like I'd love to be at that top end myself, but that's not going to happen. But sometime I'd love to get a go in our 5 car next to the Bushwhacker to see how we get on it. But it's the level of them lads are at the top end. Cahan McCourt, the O'Briens, all of them, Jason, and all them lads are in some pace out there, and it's not going to be any different Friday. Like it's all, and it's no class even come down to the 2-wheel drive. Like everybody's involved with and every man will be at their top game. It'll be as hard as everybody will be going. It'll be the same for every class is the same.
Yeah.
Kevin, all the way down. Like if you come home with a trophy on Saturday, no matter what class you'll be trying.
Yeah.
You'll be going hard.
And like for you then as well too in the historic class, you've always had to maybe make the trip across the Irish Sea to compete in events across England, Scotland, Wales and all that. But isn't it fantastic to see so many of those guys coming over here now to give the Bushwhacker a go?
Oh, it was great. It was great. I'd love to see a pile more. And there was Baz Jordan them telling me and Matthew Robson telling me they're going to come over, but sure, they wouldn't come over and race you. I'll go and race them, but they're not going to race me. So hope they listen and pick that in the next time. But in fairness to the boys, it's great to see the competitors coming over, and they're looking forward to probably taking in a bit of the night stages, see for the RAC, but a bit of practice too. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's probably a big help. It's great to see, even the top end boys too coming over. It's going to be a great event.
Aye, and what about like Martin and Sansoma's? Sansoma's transmissions. Like the guy making the effort to come over here, bring his team over here, and bring the BM. Just even the thoughts of the noise of that thing going through the forest at night, just enough to make the hair stand on the back of your neck.
Without a doubt, it will. In the speed he'll be going at, and it'll suit his car. And he's some driver too. And it's great for the spectacle for the actual rally and the spectators to enjoy and hear that thing coming through in the dark. Class.
Yeah, because 2 years ago it ran in the dark, and up at the top of Loch Braden, the crowd of people. I don't know where you could pick that up in the car or not, but it was surreal. Pitch dark, and the amount of heads and wee lights that was just coming through the lane there. And it's not even really a lane; it's just a track. And they had a trek of probably half an hour in daylight. I don't know how long it took in the night.
No, where does that down the big hill just along the Braden? It's a great spot too. But you'd have seen it, and there's a great buzz even in the car as well,
Yes.
And to see it as well, and the crowds. And fairness, I don't think it's going to be any different. Hopefully, the weather will just towel off for the spectators as well, that they will enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, that's for sure. And as you had mentioned then too, there'll be a few guys doing this then as kind of preparation for the RAC. Another event that means so much to you as well too. There's something very special about that rally. Those days, 20, 30 years ago, a 5-day rally was, wasn't that extraordinary. But now it's a feat of man and machine.
Oh, feet man machine. It's just, I don't know. I just have a great buzz with it, you know what I mean? And looking forward to doing it again. I guess it's reasonably, it costs a few pounds, but again, only for the people around me, I couldn't do it. And they're mad keen to go. And, it's the amount of effort. We're already planning well ahead of it already. Even down to the catering, everything. The good people come to give us, stepping in there to give us a hand on that end, and the mechanic, and I'm lucky to have friends in Wales as well. They're actually coming over. I've cousins coming out of Isle of Man this weekend. I've mates coming from Wales this weekend. I don't know what they're expecting, but anyway, it's going to be a good weekend all around. Like this coach in will be a good crack, I'll say, and Saturday night too. So
yeah, that's something we haven't even mentioned. The things that we quirks that the club's putting on, the regroup in Castledurg. Nice to see that in the Forestry Rally. It's not something we're used to as well.
Very, very good. Even as Robert McKelvey, I think it's outside Robert's office in Castledurg, and it's good to repay him and a bit of PR as well. For Robert's a good sponsor of the club as well. So it'll be good for the spectators as well. Somewhere that you had a few kids and the street lights and what have you. Look right stars.
Yeah, and then back to the old days, the prize given back in the coach end as well too, and like that we should be encouraging people to go to that, because there is such a social side of it, rally, and now you are between the stages. It would be nice to see that carried on into the evening as well.
Without a doubt, I only seen that today there, and I was chuffed at the 32 because you sort of miss them things now with rally. And that was usually, especially the Bushwhacker, it used to be a great evenings crack, and somewhat the clubs have all missed that now. There's no real prize given anymore, really. It's done at the car, and you walk on, and everybody splits up and goes home. And I think it's probably out there, the truth was,
Why didn't you get?
It happens Saturday night.
About 9 o'clock, you're getting even faster, and the slides are getting wilder.
Oh my God! They need a lot of marshals about half the coach in, and then there'll be stones flying high.
Yeah, and like Paul, all we can do, I suppose, is before we finish up is, if you're going to go out there and spectate, listen to the marshals, but enjoy the show.
Enjoy a show, stand, listen to the marshals, stand well back. It's not going to be easy, especially if the weather's not going to be that good. Hopefully it will, but just obey the marshals, and keep the rally in its place, and keep safe, and just make sure everybody enjoys it. That's the main thing.
Bushwhacker's only days away, and the two men that's making it all happen, Lewis and Ronnie. Lewis, what can we say? We'll start, I suppose, with last Thursday night, the 50th anniversary celebration. What a night.
It was a great night. It was fantastic to see the room filled with so many stars of past and present rallying. We had nearly 300 people there, and everybody thoroughly enjoyed themselves. It was a great night. Ran seamlessly from the start at just after 7 right through to nearly midnight, and it seemed like for us anyway about half an hour. But it was a great night, and me and Ronnie weren't involved in that part of it. That was Gary Milligan and Louise and Derek. So we were really just coming along and enjoying the night as well.
Spectators as well.
It was good.
Enjoying the show.
It was good to have, and the Bushwhacker deserves that.
Yeah, for sure. And like Ronnie, the atmosphere in the room was just electric, and it was like everywhere you looked, there was just another star and there was another celebrity, and it was just the feel-good factor, I think, was just lifted you.
That was it. There was a great atmosphere in it right now, so it was. But it was, as you said, like those stars everywhere, or stars that we know them as.
Yes.
From days gone by, like. So it was.
And what a history the rally has had. When you look at the previous winners, some of the guys that competed in the rally over the years, those 50 years have been just exceptional, really.
Oh God, the blink.
Yeah.
So it was.
Well, it was great to have the man who actually was part of that, which is Hugh. No, our own.
McDade.
Hugo McDade, who was
right.
instrumental, in setting that first rally up, and then the Ulster took over from that, and the Bushwhacker went from tarmac back to loose, and it was a loose rally ever since that. Yeah. So really, 49 years of loose rallying, and we've never went down the road of tarmac. We've declined a full road closing order. We've never went all tarmac like most of the rest of the clubs have. So we're regarded as being a loose rally club. Yeah. We're like that. We're proud of that.
That's where your happy place is, I suppose.
Yeah, really, it is. Yep, throwing stones. We're really typical Tyrone people.
And after at the end there too, he was the boy. Was he the boy that said that? Him and Paddy McCool. You remember his father used to write for the Cohen.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Just haven't come up with the idea, the name of the Bushwhacker.
Right. Yes.
That's why that come back.
And that's stuck then 50 years later.
it wasn't the fact that they're going to whack a few bushes on the way around. It was, let's hope that doesn't happen too much.
Yeah, hopefully not. And hopefully
that's at the start of the year. There's not that many standing.
No, that's for sure. Yeah, and hopefully that feel-good factor continues to Friday evening. Like, what a stellar lineup! But 130 odd cars. Like, I would say that's beyond your wildest dreams.
Oh, for God's sake!
We actually started off printing, numbers at 130, then we went to 140, and we eventually said, we need 150 door squares, and we actually might need 150 door squares. When you take the reserve plus then the micros, we'll have 4 micros coming through there.
Yeah.
So they start on a Saturday. Right, so I think we're sitting there, roll on down, Ronnie, to see we're sitting at 140, there were 145, 146.
Right.
On the seated entry list.
Yes.
Yep.
Now some of them men will have dropped out and would ideally love to start less than 130, but we'll see what way that goes. Mm-hmm. Anybody who's put an entry in now will get running on the reserve list and everybody else.
And we have Marty McCormick there now, the last reserve, which you might see.
Oh, brilliant! Excellent. Yeah. So
in the BMW.
Oh wow!
So that'll give
Albert Clark.
That'll give Paul Barrett something to think about. So when he's tearing down the stages.
Well, there's a lot of them historic boys coming from England.
That's just, you took the words out of my mouth. Isn't it fantastic to see? Like Paul and Marty and these guys always had to go over to England to compete, and now to see so many of those guys coming over now and supporting their rally, it just shows you how popular rallying is here and how popular the Bushwhacker is.
That's it.
Well, we're also very thankful for the Irish Championship coming up, and they've been supporting us now for the last 4 years. And every year they build and build and build. Like last year we had 42, I think, entries up from the Southern Championship, and this year we're up on I think maybe 55 coming through. So Deirdre, big thanks to her and to John, for supporting us, and also for the local men too. Fantastic, and we're saying that we had an option for Brenton Comiskey coming up late entry, and we could have thrown out somebody from our own neck of the woods in a far less class. We went, no, hold on, every entry is so important to us. A local entry plus a foreign entry plus any entry that comes is important, but the little man's is as important to us as the big man.
That's for sure.
Through rallying.
Because they pay their entry the same as everybody else, don't they?
Right, they deserve to get a chance every bit as much, and they're the ones who are supporting us then year upon year upon year. Next year we'll expect our entries to drop down to below 100. But it may not. But we're expecting that to happen then next year.
Let's look at Lakeland this year.
Lakeland got a fantastic entry. Fantastic entry. Really, really good.
Because that's the thing, like it's the what is it? I often say it as the rising tide lifts all boats, and the way the Irish Forestry Championship has really took legs now. Really, since we've come back from COVID, it's getting better and better, and that's just helping everybody as well too, isn't it?
It is so good. I mean, we don't. Yeah, we think we run the best rally, but every club thinks they run the best rally. So we can't take that as an accolade. But it's wonderful the people that support the Bushwhacker, but they're not supporting us and the organisation, even though we think we are doing really well. It's the stages that we have out there that really lift them. And the night stages this year will be just awesome. We did it 3 years ago, Kevin, 2 years ago, where we ran Lochbraden and Carrigaholden, whereas now we're running Lochbraden twice.
Yes.
Carrigaholden and Killeder. So I've just ordered up and give locations for 15 tower lights there this morning. So we're having the place lit up. It'll be like a wee airport. Somebody, as long as not the boys in Russia decide that they want to, come across, we'll be okay.
But even from your point of view, as the organisation point of view, to run night stages must be a whole different logistics as well too. Like the lights of your night stands, reflective signage. There has to be an awful lot more work going to a night stage, and
there is
to put all that effort and the way it was received 2 years ago had to give you great heart, and that's probably why you're doing it again.
Well, that's true.
That is right. And the 50th anniversary was ideal for it, and then the road closing order, which we used to link the stages, is a great way of doing it as well. But logistics are big, and then we have to house, bed a lot of people.
Coming to help, marshals and
that's really the worst thing we had to do was actually find beds somewhere in Omagh. We were actually
got enough hotels about the place.
No.
I have a mattress to get out of my floor here for somebody, so type to me.
Yeah.
There's somebody else to get my bed, maybe.
They're not that long in the bed.
Yeah.
Well, we'll not. We finished probably the last cars in about 2:00. We're hoping to lock the service park up about 3:00,
Right.
and then we kick off again at 9:30 on Saturday morning again. So we won't have a lot of time.
There's not a lot of time.
Yes.
Might need to bring a sleeping bag just and sleep in the floor.
And then the other thing is, starting from the Omagh showgrounds again this year, as the surface area, like that, top class there too, because you have a good steel surface. Every man, you have plenty of room there, good surface, ideal venue, and central to the stages as well. Not too much of a drive out.
Well, it's a wee bit out, but you'd rather a bit closer, but you can't move it.
No,
the only thing is we're going out. It's not that big a distance from Omagh out to the first stage, Lochbraden. Then they go to Castlederg, then Cleator, then Carrigahoden, then back into Lochbraden, then back to service. So the Friday one's not too bad. No. Saturday run is then right the whole way out to the border and Cleator.
Right, the side to start with.
So right up to County Donegal.
Yes.
So that's a fair wee run out to the first stage.
And then the run back in is not so bad.
No. So the finish will not be so bad. And we're hoping, as we have said earlier on, that the weather will be favourable for us, that the rain that came down today will not be the same.
I know, yes.
We're hoping that.
Yeah. And as well then too, you're going to have on the Friday evening as a regroup, and which is a bit of an unusual thing for like a round of the Forestry Championship. And we'd encourage spectators to come along to Castlederg then on Friday evening and see that, and get a chance to maybe meet some of the crews, see the cars as well.
Well, that'll be fantastic. I mean, we're closed off a street in Castlederg where we'll be bringing in rally cars in there for about half an hour so that you can interview them and the public can come and see them up close and personal. And there'll be McKelvey's our main sponsor. I mean, and we're really indebted to them. I mean, the Kelvys have been sponsoring us now for 15 years. That's Aaron and Robert, and we're really, really, really thankful for that. Long-term sponsorship is something which a lot of other clubs are probably envious of. But we're doing that regroup right outside their main offices in the middle of Castlederg. So they'll be maybe doing some food as well from the side of the building. And we're looking for a good crowd. So yes, come along there and see. We are. We're
giving out stickers and we're giving out badges or something like that.
You know what? The people who are good, Ronnie said earlier on, Robbie McGurk's and the Hugh O'Brien's and different individuals were our heroes whenever we were watching rallying. And we used to look at them like, really, they were stars. They were stars.
They were
goals. Come and meet the stars now, the Paddies, and the Cahals and the Jasons and the Vivians and these men who are so fast.
Yeah, even that one Aaron Johnson there too in the middle.
That's right.
His company. He is world
class. That's it. Yeah.
Well, sometimes the leg of Aaron has because we know Aaron.
We don't pass any remarks.
We don't pass any remarks on the fame that he has. Whereas I remember whenever Phil Mills was navigating for Peter Silberg, we thought, wow, he must be an absolute megastar, and he is.
Yes.
And so is Aaron.
Yes.
Aaron's a megastar. Like you go out to Japan and you probably mention Aaron Johnson's name and they fall down and worship him. They do.
They know who they are.
Yeah.
So where we had, even last year or the year before, he come and helped us. He normally comes and helps us every year, either Family Town or the Bushwhacker. He comes everywhere.
He doesn't forget his roots.
No, that's for sure.
He's going to go well.
Exactly. He's still very much involved and wants to be there as well too. And it's not to be seen that he's normally stuck with somewhere that nobody will see him doing these things.
His father's an absolute, gentleman. And Ian will be close to us in the club as well.
Yeah.
Like Aaron cut his teeth with us navigating. That's where he learned to navigate.
Yes.
And then progressed up through. Robert McAleer actually was his driver for a long time.
Robert even sponsored to get him to the WRC.
I helped to get there.
Because his name hangs on the rally.
I was still on the sit and all too. And we talk about Omagh and Castlederg, two absolute epicenters of gravel rallying, as well too, because it's just, I don't know, like you probably look at all the entries, they're probably, I would say, at least 60-70% of them is all within the radius of
That's
a
right.
short distance.
No, you're right. And Castlederg in particular has a sort of a radial of motorsport event for a smallish area. But then that's probably not surprising when you go across into Donegal. If you look at Donegal, like nearly every other garage has a rally car sitting.
Which they say isn't a third of the license holders in the south in Donegal. That's the chat, anyway.
That's the same in Roman as well.
Yeah, that has to be. Yeah. So, and then not only are they wanting to compete, but you have a very strong team in the club as well that want to help and get organise things and show great initiative as well too.
We're so privileged to have so many good people in the club who are willing to do stuff. Like we have 4 COCs in the club that you can pick from to run this rally. Not too many clubs have that. Then you have the workers who go out and do the stuff on the stage, and we're looking at Aidan and Barry and Ronnie here and Derek and Petey and a few others, and they're out there today with a rail and running out of them. Doing that. They'll be out tomorrow. They'll be out again on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday doing it again. And we're privileged in the club to have so many good people.
Yeah. And then probably again Friday night, Saturday morning to turn the stages round as well too. It's not just that here you go lads away and play. No. There's a whole lot more involved in this as well too.
It doesn't just set itself up like.
And like that, that would have been very easy to just run the stages as was on Friday night, run them again Saturday. But no, that's not the way you just do things up there.
We do it differently. We don't want the competitors to come out. The stages they're doing on the Friday night, with the exception of Carrigaholton, which will be the same stage for one on the Saturday, all the rest of them are different.
Yeah, well, Killiter's nearly completely different, isn't it?
It is.
There's only
a bit of mile in the middle that's been used, and it's a straight portion of road. But there's going to be a chicane then for Saturday morning, so slightly different than that straight. But it's different roads, for my that. And then Carrigaholton will be turned completely around, Lochbradden will be turned completely around. It will look different in daylight anyway from what it will at night. And the fact that the bogies now increased, the average speed increased to 75 miles per hour is a massive big advantage for us as well. But the way these boys are driving, there'll be no time until they're back up at that speed. We'll have to think of other ways, Kevin, to try and slow them down. I think actually they should run with 2 flat back tires. I think
and I suppose a man that's as probably one of the main spines of the club, Barry Arundel. Barry gets involved in so many other events, marshalling and one thing and another, and I'm sure he has enough marshals, but you can never have enough people on the ground either.
Oh, not at all.
We're blessed with Barry. I mean, again, we take him for granted in some ways
because we have him.
But funny, I was saying to Carrie McGuinness today that if we didn't have Barry, I don't know where we would go to get another Barry who's able to. He's got a fantastic way with all the marshals, and he can pull them, out of hedgerows to get them to actually physically marshal. And every year, and Barry's out night and day, working, and we're absolutely indebted to Barry.
And he works for a whole pile of other clubs as well.
There's not a
if anybody out there is willing to marshal, contact Barry, and I'm sure he'll make use of them.
Even we can't run without the local motor clubs, because we have
Donegal,
Marifelt, Donegal,
Inniskill,
Maiden City, and Inniskill, and all helping us.
They're all pulling them too, because everybody. That's the great thing with rallying. Everybody wants to see everybody else doing well. They're not jealous, or there's no spite. There's everybody
pulling a hand on your event,
yes.
That's it. So it is. But you need that, because we can't run the dang thing ourselves.
No, that's for
sure.
And
then half of our committees all wants to do the rally as well. You see? So that lost us a few. A great idea, surely, but I want to do it.
Them people we mentioned, the likes of Aidan and Petey and them, we'd be lost without them as well. And they're behind. They don't want any limelight. They're working away behind the scenes,
just quietly, just doing their own thing and doing it to the best of their ability. Then too. And then I suppose then to start wrapping things up, if you do want to go out and watch the rally Friday night and Saturday, it's very important that the marshals is there for a reason. That they're there for your safety as well too.
That's it.
Well, we have one spectator point really only in the Friday night, which is up at the Waterworks in Lochbradden, lit up. There'll be a food van there, and then there's another exit, but it's a fair walk in down at the bottom of the hill in Lochbraden. You can walk in from the dead end road up over the Scrye and walk in from that. You can get in later, but we're not having it really labelled as a spectator point into the junction but the over the bumps.
Know the way.
People know the way in there. There's going to be a light tower there as well because it's radio point. But wherever you're more spectating, if they're out there, we want you to just stay off the road, folks. Once the safety car convoy can start coming through, that's basically it. There should be no more movement on the stage itself, and wait until the tail sweep comes through and the road open car, as in the rescue vehicles, come through. We're looking to run 130 cars. That's going to take over 2 hours to run. So stay your place. If you get a place, stay there and enjoy it. And the Lochbraden's been run twice, so.
You can get the chips in between.
You can.
And then we don't forget too, we have 2 very special guests coming in for the event as well too. Making a return from as Robbie McGurk and Hugh O'Brien, and 2 legends of the Bushwhacker Rally. Never mind of Irish Rally.
Both right. Like when in their heyday, Robbie was untouchable, and Hugh O'Brien was, wow, just amazing car control in the Escort. And they're coming out, Robbie in the Opel Manta and Hugh O'Brien in the Escort. They're running between the 00 and the zero car, doing demonstration runs. They're not going to be driving at 10 tenths. They're not going to be out there to, take time out of anybody else in the rally, but I'm sure there'll be an absolute spectacle to see.
They'll be out there to show off.
And then along comes in the main contenders, Paddy and Kathleen and the rest of it. So we're expecting a big ding-dong battle there.
Yeah, and then the final thing then is after the rally, you're having an old-fashioned prize giving as well too.
We are indeed, yep. Denise McKenny, one of our volunteers in the club, lovely, active person who's really full of enthusiasm. She says, we'd like to have a prize given. I said, Denise, go and knock your pan on. So she did, and she got it sorted out.
She's all organised.
7:30 on the Saturday night.
Yeah.
The last car is only going to be back in about 7 o'clock, and then down to the coach for prize giving.
We can all park over in Costa Coffee there and walk over the back end today. So we can, which is dead handy.
Yeah,
probably the easiest way to get in.
Because that
there's a pretty big car park beside it as well.
Yeah. And the prize giving always was a huge part of every rally, and it's kind of dwindled off now in the last few years. And it'd be
I think since COVID it sort of went there. And there is a number of the competitors who just want to finish the rally and go home.
Yeah,
that's okay. That's fine. That will still happen. But, and we'll get their crystal to them at some stage. But we'd like as many people as possible to come back and celebrate the prize giving and appreciate the McAleer Construction. It'll probably be Darren who'll be giving out the prizes. To appreciate his input into everything. He may be having to give him prize for himself as well.
So, man, best of luck now with the 50th anniversary, and here's to the next 50 years.
You're so right, Kevin. Thank you very much again.
So, thanks there to the lads there, and best of luck to everybody competing now in the Omagh Grand Prix this weekend. I'm just so looking forward to this. This is like Donegal in the woods. So. That's the latest from Krunching Gears, the Rally podcast. Until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.
That's the proudest day and the proudest time and the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all we said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.